Very excited to talk to our next guest here on GKW as her book, Hell in Boots, comes out on Tuesday. Amazon, wherever you get your books, make sure you pick this one up. You're not going to want to miss it. As we welcome in Saraya, thank you so much for the time.
Hello, how you doing, you guys?
Oh, doing
Well,
great.
great. Thanks for being on.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So, I mean, your life, obviously, interesting enough, certainly for a book, but you've already had a movie. Like, usually people write the book and then the movie comes out. You're doing it in the reverse, where the movie came out and now you've got the book. What made you want to sit down and write a book?
Dude, you know what? I do feel very, very grateful that I mean, I shouldn't have had a movie by the time I was 21. That's like such a rare occurrence. So like I feel very grateful for that and that's amazing. But like, the movie version was a toned down version, like we it had to be PG, it had to be family, like friendly, and so now like, okay, this is where I started. Like I'll be completely honest, right? When me and WWE parted ways, right? I was so scared about what's happening next, right? So I was just like, and I needed to focus my mind on something. I was just like, what's going to happen? Like this is all I've known for so long. Like they've kept me so busy and I have to be busy. I hate not being busy. And then my manager was just like, why don't you start writing a book? And I've been wanting to write it for a very long time since the movie came out. And then, and since I've had like a crazy life and everyone has told my story for me apart, and it should have been like, it's just very confusing. A lot of people have told my story throughout the years, and I'm a very controversial figure. I know. So and everyone has like different sides of the story. So I was like, okay, well, this is my chance because I thought I wasn't ever going to work again until like a month later, I guess. But I was like, this is my chance to start writing it. And so I did. And then I had a ghostwriter that helped me, right? And I didn't like it. I didn't think the book was good. What like I thought it was good, it wasn't good enough. Like she made me sound like I was at the cost of Annie a little bit. She was very sweet. She did a great job, but I was like, this isn't right. Like so the timing were off, like the stories were all mixed up. I was like, no, I can't put this out like this. So then I rewrote it for another year with my good friend Taylor. We spent another year rewriting the whole thing. So it took over 2 years to get this book done, but I'm so bloody grateful for it. And it was all because me and WWE parted ways. That was it. I was like, okay, like, let's start this journey, I guess. And it's the craziest, most frustrating journey that I've been on, I think. It's very intense.
Saraya, when it comes to your family, wrestling's in your bloodline.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you didn't wrestle, what was going to be your lot in life?
Oh my gosh. When I was younger, I really wanted to be a vet or a zoologist. Every, 10-year-old girl wants to work with animals. But I was so deeply in love with Steve Irwin and I was absolutely devastated when he passed away. Like I wanted to be him. Like that's who I wanted to be. So if I wasn't lucky enough to be born into a wrestling family, um, like, 'cause that's all we did was we eat, sleep, shit. I don't know if you can cuss on here.
Yeah.
Wrestling, dude. Like
Go
that's
for it.
okay, good. So that's all we did. So like I was very lucky to be born into it, but I think I would have been working with animals. And I tried to fight it while also being in a wrestling family because I was like, I'm not following the family business. I try to rebel a little bit. And yeah, wrestling just consumes you. So
So speaking of that wrestling life, what is the reaction of friends when they realize what your life is? Because you're not joining the family accounting business, you're the pro wrestling business. What's the reaction of friends when they were learning about
oh,
you?
yeah. Apologies in advance. I have a bird, by the way. So if he screams bloody murder, it's because he wants attention. So
Okay,
no one's getting murdered in
good.
my room. But I was like, good, perfect timing from my animals. They know exactly when I'm trying to do stuff. But yeah, so again, my life growing up has all been about wrestling. So everyone kind of knew wrestling. No one knew me as anything different. So like maybe introducing myself to like newer people, they're always like a little bit confused. They're just like, you're a wrestler. I expect you to be like looking like, John Cena. And I'm like, actually, no. A lot I'm actually one of the bigger ones. A lot of the girls are a lot shorter than me, so it's like people are always surprised, but my friends are so used to it. I have friends that aren't wrestling fans too, which I love, that I've been best friends with for like 13 years that they never asked me about it. They come to like certain shows and stuff like that, but like when they found out, they were just like, oh, okay, well, we don't care. I was like, good, good, okay, cool.
Well, one of those friends who keeps coming up in the book wrote the foreword to the book, Renee. What
Yeah.
has she meant to you? How did she react when you asked her to write the foreword for the book?
You know, me and Renee this past weekend got a tea bag tattooed on us. So we randomly got a spur of the moment tattoo because I'm again, she's one of my favorite people in the world, one of my very best friends. She was like, let's do a tea bag because it's like a Commonwealth connection. And I was like, okay, so drive-by tea bagging, we called it this past weekend. Um, but no, she's been absolutely amazing. And when I asked her to write the foreword, she was just ecstatic about it. And she also did the audio for it too. So in the audio book, she's reading the foreword, which I was so pleased about. And then John Moxley, a hubby, also read the book and left a review too on the book. And it was those two are just the most beautiful people. And I feel so grateful to have them in my life. You know, they're like my family. And like, they just, they're so, the way both of them write is so beautiful. I was like, damn, you should have wrote my book. You know, it was just like really, really great. Like, and yeah, so she was really grateful for it. She was really pumped. And it made me cry, dude. Like her and Moxley's review both made me cry. They just, like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, you guys really are my best friends.
Saraya, the same John Moxley that bleeds every Wednesday, that's got a tooth in
Yeah.
the floor with nails in his back.
Yeah.
That
Did you
guy.
see his back 5 days ago?
That guy. Yeah, everyone like, you know, even if they've known him for a very long time, like they never know if like he likes them or not because he's quite a quiet guy. He's quiet, and then he gets to the ring and does all these crazy things. But I've known him since day one of coming over to America, and you know he's always been like pretty quiet. You know, he's in general. Even now, like if I go to their house to watch like UFC, like you know, he's like he can get a little bit extra talkative. But yeah, he's a nice guy, and people like are shocked about that. I'm like, he's so sweet. He helped me with my when I first came to AEW. First of all, he was one of the people that convinced me to come to AEW. But then he was like, after I shit the bed with that first promo, because I was so nervous, I didn't know what I was saying, I didn't know what I was doing within the company. I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on. Like I wasn't cleared by that point yet, so I was just like, I didn't know what to say in this promo. So then Moxley helped me with my second one that I had with Britt in the ring, and he like emailed it, and he was like, he's very old school. But he emailed it to me and it was like he was like, you need to be talking like this and like you should be like speaking from the heart. And he helped me so much when I first came in. Like he brought my confidence back into the wrestling business because he was so like even like when me and Britt did like the sit down or sorry, I was sitting down and Britt wasn't there, I think. I don't know. It was some kind of segment and he sat there with Renee, you know, and watched me and directed it and like made sure that it came across really well. Like he's a great guy. Great guy.
How much of that is rust versus, just you said nerves, but what about rust? Because again,
Yeah.
toward the WWE, toward the back end of your time there, we didn't see you, and then you're on AEW's platform. You still had to
Yeah.
be able to. How much of that was rust for you?
I think a lot of it was rust, but I also think my nerves was a big catalyst of it too, because again, I hadn't been in a ring in front of a camera or anything like that in over 5 years. You know, it was a very long time. I think 5 years or at least 4 years, you know, but it was I was scared and then I was in front of a completely new audience, you know. There's like most of these are like diehard wrestling fans, you know, that would go to AEW. Now it's expanded to like more, you know, across the board. But like it was terrifying. And I was like, I actually second guessed coming back to wrestling because of it. I was just like, I don't know if I made a mistake here, you know? And so, but luckily, again, I had friends like Renee and John that really helped me, you know, get my footing again.
In terms of that return to wrestling, at any point, how much did you have doubt that that day would ever come again after your injury?
Oh, I never thought it would come again. I never ever thought I'd get back in the ring. Like they told me they were just like I didn't have fluid around my spinal cord, like in a certain area. I'm like I get kicked like even a little bit, I'll be paralyzed. If I just walk and trip over, I could be paralyzed. It was like a terrifying injury to have, you know. And I like to blame it on my healthy lifestyle, you know. Or I'm Wonder Woman, but no, I like to blame it on that because you know it's very open and people know I used to have addiction issues and all that kind of stuff. And once that kind of like once I fought against that and came out the other side, I was really healthy. Like I went to the gym, I was eating vegan food, like most of it was just freaking lettuce, you know, and just like I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I didn't do anything. And I think that really helped me, or I like to believe it helped me. Yeah, I don't know.
So going from you don't think that moment's ever coming to
Yeah.
lifting the world championship inside of Wembley Stadium. Like
Yeah.
how does that journey happen? When do you find out, oh yeah, by the way, when this ends, you're going to be lifting this up in your home country? Like what was
Yeah.
that emotional roller coaster for you?
Yeah, so we had like obviously four different finishes to the match because we just didn't know who was going to be going over, right? And I was like, there's no way he's going to put the strap on me. That's too easy, right? I was thinking that's too easy. Like he's not going to do that. Maybe like I always second guess myself a lot in wrestling. Outside of wrestling, I'm pretty confident, but within wrestling, like, I'm pretty hard on myself. And I never thought within a year of me being in the company that I would be getting the championship. There's no way. I thought I'd have to grind even more. And I'm so grateful that I got that opportunity, especially at Wembley, especially with my family in front of my home country. And I never thought that day would come. So when he did tell us, it was like the night before he had just because he owns Fulham Football Club too. So like they were having a footy match, and then he flew in really quick around 10 o'clock at night, and then we were all sitting around the ring like, "What's going on? It's tomorrow. Like we need to figure this out." And then he came out and he's like, "Yeah, you." And I was like, "What?" I was like, I burst into tears, dude. I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm just so grateful." I never thought this would ever happen again. I was adamant. I was like convinced this would never happen again. I will never hold another championship in my life. And so the fact that I got that, it was so emotional, and I sobbed. They just couldn't believe it. I didn't tell my family either. So then when they came out, and then at the very end, they were very shocked. They were like, "Oh my God." I just wanted to surprise them.
Saraya, I'm hoping that in the book you talk a little bit about things, your ebb and flow of your life. And for
Yeah.
those that are watching and listening to our show, what advice would you give to someone that is trying to dig themselves out of dark times?
You know, I went to a lot of therapists and psychiatrists and stuff like that. I think it's important to the secret to it is community, and it's who you surround yourself with. So like if you feel like you're going through a hard time, you have to take a step back and see who's around you and who you're able to talk to and who has your best interests and et cetera, et cetera. So I would say that, sorry, I'm on a Zoom call. Ozzy, sorry. Hang on 1 second. Yes, sorry. Hopefully they calm down a little bit. They get really excited to see my managers. They're like, like they love them. But so yeah, so getting out of dark times, I would say you have to figure out community, the people that you surround yourself with, and know that you are loved, because that's the hardest thing about being in like the darkest point of your life, is that you're convinced no one loves you, no one like wants to be there for you. You're so by yourself, and then you have to you have to try and think and snap out of it and know that you are so loved. And all you have to do is reach out and talk to someone. It's the most healthiest thing that you can do, is talk. And again, surround yourself with really amazing, positive people. That's how I did it. And therapy is a great thing, dude. Just even if you don't want to talk to one of your best friends about it, like just getting these feelings off of your chest is the most like amazing, like freeing feeling that you can do. You'll walk out of there feeling like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. But find the perfect therapist, though, is another thing, because there's therapists that you will talk to and you feel like you don't have like that connection with. You have to find the perfect person that you feel like is really listening to you. But yeah, so there's a bunch of different things, but yeah, mostly community and yeah, just talking and know that you're loved.
How much do you, or how much are you able to step back and realize what an influence you are, not just out of the ring, but even inside the ring, where we saw Billy Starks last week in a big match, her 500th match. She's not even 20 yet. Like, to have that influence, how much are you able to step back and realize that?
Well, I don't even realize how much influence I have. I'm telling you, I second guess myself a lot. I really do. Like, I'm like, is people going to turn up to the signing? Is like, people going to buy the book? Are people going to go watch this movie that's made about me? Like, I second guess everything. So whenever someone tells me that they're inspired by me, I'm always just like blown away every time. I'm like, me? Right? That's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, it feels amazing to have an impact on people and women in wrestling. It feels really great. Again, like I don't believe it sometimes myself. So like getting told that is really nice.
why was it important for you in the book to kind of chronicle everything? Because I mean, you were incredibly honest in writing this book. You start the book right away with a very downtime in your life. Why was it important for you to share everything in your book?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's important because, again, I'm not someone that is very open at all with people. Like I don't like to share my feelings very often, and it's hard for me to do that. But I was like, if I'm gonna write a book, I need to tell you everything. I need to be as real and raw and as authentic as possible, so you fully understand where my head is at and who I am as a person and what has shaped me, you know? So I'm only gonna let people down if I'm not completely open about things. I'm gonna write a book and be half-assed about it. Like, no. I'm going to tell you everything, the nitty gritty, the sad stuff. I'm going to make you feel something when you're reading this book. And that's the most important thing to me. Like whatever. And I hope by the end of the book that you're inspired by it, you know, and again, I don't want to be known as like a victim in any way, shape or form in this book. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I'm a very happy person now. I've gone through a lot and I wouldn't change a thing, not even a tiny detail, even like the childhood stuff. I'm not changing a thing because that shaped me, and I'm thankful that it happened to someone like me that was able to be strong enough to get through it. And then so when people are reading this and they are in a dark time and they can read part of this book, and again, given the full details of everything, I'm not shying away from anything, you know, that they can look at that and be like, holy crap, she got through that, I can get through that too. You know, that's my main goal of the book. So I was like, okay, like I have to start from the very beginning of what's happened in my life. And like I've had interviews before where a couple of, you know, the men mostly, they'll read the book and they're like, I have to close it and put it down for a second because it can get very intense. You know, it can get very intense. And that's what I want people to get a little bit uncomfortable too, because it's like a wake up call for a lot of people, you know, like, and it will help a lot of people. And it just, so yeah, I'm so thankful for it. I'm really thankful for it, but I needed to just tell the whole truth here, you know, even if some people aren't going to like it.
Saraya, we've seen you quoted in other interviews talking about like you kind of know the date when you're done wrestling. That makes us sad. I don't know, but I mean, you did say that, right? That you kind of have an idea of like, yeah, I know when my final match is, when I'm going to be wrapping it up.
Yeah. So, okay. So I don't know when my final match would be, but and I'm not saying it's forever, but I'm saying I'm coming to the end of it right now. There's no room for me. There isn't right now. Like I don't need to be squeezed in anywhere, and I don't want to be forced down people's throats. You know, like I did my, you know, time where I went to AEW. I was putting all the girls over. That was my main thing. Is I just wanted to like elevate everybody in the best way that I can, as much as I'm able to, like, you know. And now I'm just like, okay, well, there's really not much left for me to do. But, you know, never say never. Like if there's an opportunity that comes that obviously I can't refuse, you know, I would absolutely do it. But I think in 2025, it's really important for me to concentrate on stuff outside of wrestling. Again, love wrestling, but I have a lot going on, which I'm really excited to talk about. So, you know, like right now, like I'm getting into acting and it's really great. I have a role coming up, which, you know, I can't talk about, but I'm really excited to share when I can. And it's a really wonderful, big opportunity. And I have a great team around me that's like freaking, you know, I mean, I'm not sleeping, but I just like, we're trying to get like wonderful things to happen and I love it. And so, yeah, I have like this amazing role coming up. And then I have my own podcast about to drop 2 days after my book called Rule Breakers. And it's like, yes, we do. We sit down and we talk, sure. But we actually kind of like, it's like it's very physical. We get very physical. We might assault our guests a little bit. Just think,
it's just a warning for anybody who's signing up for the podcast in the future. That may happen when you're on with Saraya.
Yeah, I mean, we make them sign a waiver. It's fine, but they know what they're getting themselves into. So basically, it's just like a podcast meets Jackass. Right. Okay. So we just wanted to, because it's very hard space. You guys know, like these kind of spaces are very hard to navigate and insert yourself in. So we're like, what's going to make us stand out? And I was like, okay, well, people have known me in the wrestling world for being like a little bit of a prankster. You know, if you watch Total Divas and like WWE even uploaded a couple of videos of me pranking people and like, And I just love that side. I love Jackass. I love that side. I've worked with Jeff Tremaine before, the creator of Jackass, and I was electrocuting everybody. It was just, it's fun. And I was like, I want to incorporate that side into a podcast. So the other day, we kept it simple. This is a simpler one, and it's the dog shot collar trivia. And we get like 10 questions. And if whoever gets it wrong gets shocked, whoever gets it right, don't get shocked, right? So I did back-to-back interviews, and I got shocked so much that I was drooling by the end of it. It was the most exhausting thing ever. We have stuff like blindfold tattoo, like there's a lot of like bug eating. It gets crazier. And we're also going to ask people who's watching the video to leave a comment underneath to suggest what we do next. But yeah, there's a lot of different segments, and it gets wild. And I'm excited for people to see it. So yeah, I have the book. I have Rule Breakers coming out. I have, a role in the acting world that will be announced. So, and then also my first ever episode, I do have a massive announcement. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's a big one. I think it's gonna, it's a viral moment for sure.
We'll keep an eye out for that one. You compared your physique earlier, you and John Cena. I know people get you guys mixed up. As a wrestling fan, what was it like seeing that big John Cena heel turn a few weeks ago?
You know what? I've been asked this question so much, and I love it because I'm all for heel Cena. I think he spent his whole career being that babyface that everyone knows and loves. He had to. He sold the most merch. He was doing Make-A-Wishes. Like, he had to be a good guy. He did. Like, you couldn't mess up a good thing like that. And, he enjoyed it too. So the fact that he's in like his last hurrah, and he gets to step outside his comfort zone a little bit and have a little fun, like, why not? I loved it. I thought it was amazing. The heel turn was perfect. They really nailed it. Like, and I know Cena's probably like enjoying this so much just to be a bad guy for once in his wrestling career. Like, hell yeah. And he's good at it too. Like the promo that he was doing where people think like maybe you'll get new music and new merch and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, you don't get shit from me. You're going to get the same old shit, and I love it. He's like taking stuff away, and it's just, I love it. And I wish he would do heel Cena shirts because I would be the first one to buy it. Absolutely. Did you guys like it?
I thought the promo was, like you said, the promo was perfect, especially him going after a kid. Like, he's known for like doing all the different things, and then he goes after some kid wearing his t-shirt in the stands. Like,
anytime that you're going against your haters and your supporters, both in the same promo, that's something different. I know the baseline for you guys, because Saraya, you've been there as a heel. I turned because of the fans, because of you. But he took it to another level by saying, even my supporters, you with the t-shirt, you with the hat, you're also the problem, which is amazing to me. That's great work.
It's different, and he's like, I always say that Cena is one of the best, like, wrestlers when it comes to psychology. He's amazing. And like, if you don't think he's the best wrestler, whenever you're watching him, you're glued to the TV. You are. And he can turn the fans like that. He's like, he can, like, he has them in the palm of his hand. So he can go from like, maybe they're going like, let's go Cena sucks right at the beginning of the promo, to the end, he's making them all cheer for him, and then this heel thing, like, he's just making them boo him. And that's such a weird thing to see Cena get booed, but he's just like a magician, dude. He's amazing. And I tell every wrestler to like watch Cena and Randy. I'm a big fan of Randy too, when it comes to like camera angles and taking his time and all that kind of stuff. But promos and stuff, like, I always encourage people to watch John 100%. He's like one of the best.
Who's your biggest rival in the ring?
Biggest rival?
Yep.
Ooh, okay. So, I mean, if I had to do one more thing, it would be Mercedes. I feel like that would be a big rivalry, right? And it's an obvious rivalry. But I think my biggest was either Nikki Bella or AJ. Because AJ kind of like lit the match for me, like with the frenemies, and people still talk about it to this day, I would say AJ. I feel like AJ is my biggest rivalry, yeah.
All right, Saraya, we certainly appreciate the time. I can't wait for everybody else to read this book. I can't wait to see all the different things. Viral moment coming up, podcast where you're assaulting guests, acting roles. I mean, it sounds like you're incredibly busy, so we certainly
Yeah.
So we certainly appreciate the time of you jumping on with us and sharing a little bit of your experiences here on GKW.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.